We are entering one of the wildest months of the year, um, July 2026. Um, and the reason why I named this The Storm Arrives, or titled this month as The Storm Arrives, is that as I'm recording this, Mars has already entered Gemini, where it's going to be activating Uranus. So this is it. When Mars arrives, it as soon as it arrives in a new sign, it activates that sign, the sign of Gemini. And not only that, on 4th of July, it's going to meet with Uranus, the oldest god, the oldest god, the sky god. And typically, this combination of Mars and Uranus tends to be an explosive one. You can read more about this in my blog. Um, Whereas here, I'm going to be going through the different each sign. But not only do we have, not only does Mars meet with Uranus, Jupiter changes signs. Jupiter changes from Cancer to Leo. On top of that, Mercury is retrograding, and so that's a lot. That's a lot. There are other things as well, but let's just start with that. And so let's go over the different signs for July. So Aries. Um, so sure, the storm arrives. I think that mainly um, um, immediately my eye kind of fixates on that new moon in Cancer in your home house, and the fourth house. And so Mercury is very close to this new moon in the middle of July. So some sort of new beginning, is possibly emerging at home, um, or some sort of. I feel like the fact that Mercury is so close to this new moon and but retrograding, there's something that you're reconsidering, or if you had plans um, to move or to do some renovations or do something related to home, those are probably going to be delayed because Mercury is retrograding and so attached to this new moon, so influenced by this new moon, um, and Mercury is influencing this new moon. So there's this feeling of we want to start anew, but it's going to get delayed. But also there's this sense of things are happening so fast. So maybe this will. I think that this is going to be a blessing. This delay is going to be a blessing. Um, okay, so but Mars in your third house, Mars meeting Uranus in your third house. Um, there might be some. Um, so this can so in individuals' lives, this can show up at different uh, in different ways. One of them is um, generally, I feel like there's you might be a little bit more irritated this month than usual. Maybe it's a very hot month weather-wise. Um, so there's something about that here. And and also it may have to do with the home situation and the delays there. May have to do with some of your siblings. There might be some mechanical issues with your car. There's a number of possibilities here, but on the other hand, it looks like relationships do take a little bit more work than you had anticipated. So this seems you seem impatient and irritated a bit. So try to, well, your surrender card this month, letting go card is surrender the idea you can fix someone. So if your delay is due to the fact that some person is causing you delays, then I suggest that you just um, try to let go of trying to control that person. Surrender the idea that people change. They don't. So I think that's something about here tells me that relationship like take work now. They feel like work. So it's summer. Just I would say it's Mercury retrograde. Just try to rest and try not to stress about it. I know it's easy to say, but that's the advice. And literally the advice is jump wood. In other words, one day at a time. This is not a month um, to start new endeavors because they simply will not succeed at this time. Okay. So Taurus, so Taurus, your so Mars is meeting Uranus in your money house. So that's where we seem to have a lot of action there. So meaning your money house. So your money house is getting a little bit of a this can mean some sort of unexpected expense. Um, Unfortunately, not always, but it could be uh, it- often when I see Mars in the second house, there's more there's spending going on, and because Uranus is there, that it does tell me that it's something unexpected. So be prepared for that. Prepare your budget for that. Um, and then the new moon um, in Cancer in your third house. Um, I mean, these expenses might have to do with your family, um, because there seemed to be some sort of delay related to them. So it might be your car, it might be some sort of or some sort of electrical equipment, regardless. Um, and and if it's something else, then it's more like some sort of emotional issue that you are going over. Maybe some sort of stressful situation. So I feel like this Mercury retrograde will actually buy you time, will actually give you time to settle in and understand, um, emotionally prepare yourself. And um, so, in other words, um, your surrender card is surrender to divine timing. So, absolutely try not to get frustrated by these delays, because this month, of all the, or rather, this Mercury retrograde, of all the Mercury retrogrades, um, this, I feel like there's something truly divine about it. In other words, it is actually a blessing in disguise. Okay, so try to trust the fact that whatever gets delayed is actually a blessing. And the advice is to stay here and now, stay in this, stay and enjoy the summer. Try not to control the situation too much, because it it is July is one of those months when it's impossible to control these events. All you can do is just to um, try to relax, go with the flow, live day to day. And Gemini. So Gemini, um, it's so interesting that you get surrender the habit of people pleasing in your surrender, letting go card. Um, um, Apparently you're ready to do that. Apparently you're very ready to surrender the habit of people pleasing, because Mars has arrived in your first house, your house of identity, and is meeting with Uranus. So you are ready to um, kind of announce the world that this makes um, Mars in the first house may can make people a little bit irritable, restless, impatient. So I feel like you're ready to say, I'm done trying to please people. I can't please everyone. So I don't care. So maybe that is the way to go. If there has been too much people pleasing. But seems like uh, at least the cards show that the advice is like there needs there seems to be a tendency to kind of escape. It's milk and honey um, um, reversed. So meaning that there might be this tendency um, to escape stress. Um, so too much drink, too much food, too much TV, too much of something. So um, try not to go there as much. Um, I would more advise when Mars is in your first house is any kind of exercise, any kind of movement. If you just get up and walk the next room, I mean, literally, that is Mars requires the sacrifice of exercise. So that is how you can relieve your stress. That's my advice to you this month. Because this Mercury retrograde is a bit frustrating and you cannot control these events. So try not to be as restless. And once Mars leaves your sign, um, then you still have Uranus there for 7 years, but that's a whole nother story. It's just that this month is particularly tends to be a little bit more irritating than usual if you're trying to force things. If you're really trying to start things, it's not going to work. So this is a month just to rest and not try not to force or control events. Okay, Cancer. So the new moon in Cancer, you're getting your new moon around the 14th of July, and um, I I feel like this is a it's interesting that you're getting obsessive thinking, surrender obsessive thinking, and I can see how that um, you might be getting this because Mercury is retrograding. So you're nostalgic as it is. So when Mercury retrogrades in your sign, there's a lot of thinking about how things could have been, should have been, could have, should have, could have. But also it can give you, so reflection is a good thing, obsessive thinking, obviously not. So, but so maybe try to relax. What's done is done, and um, I feel like this Mars and Uranus in your 12th house, you have this kind of unnamed restlessness about you. Even though it's your birthday month, the Mars and Uranus is kind of, yeah, it's creating this like um kind of um unnecessarily busy imagination, and you're thinking of fears and these maybe regrets more than more than you should, because Mars and Uranus tends to be explosive. It tends to be very restless. So there's this restlessness about this month, but um, you cannot control the events this month. This is absolutely July, particularly this July, because Mercury is retrograding in your sign. It is the month to rest. Try not to control, because you cannot control these events. Um, and and thinking about the past over and over again. Reflection is one thing. You can do that. Try not to obsess about it. Um, and also, it's interesting that your advice card is to try to take in, this is yin card reversed. Try to take advice. Try to accept help from other people. Let people help you. Um, Maybe listen to other people um, more than anything. When they tell you something, um, when you're too obsessive, thinking too obsessively, it's hard to hear. But if you listen, concentrate on listening, I think that will get you out of that um, mm, too much of thinking about the past. So it might be a little bit a frustrating month, but if you let go of control, let go of overthinking, um, this can be a wonderful time for rest and reflection, and then you are ready to start anew. Um, Money might be an issue towards the um, end of the month, because although you are getting Jupiter in your money house, which is fabulous. I mean, who doesn't want Jupiter, the um, most benefic planet, in their money house? But it is unfortunately um, making an opposition to Pluto. So there's a power struggle regarding your money and other people's money, your self-esteem versus demands that are put on you. So, but this too shall pass. And again, these are uh, things that are difficult to control this month. So try to rest and reflect peacefully as much as you can. Okay, so Leo, um, so obviously, then your big news is that Jupiter is is enters your sign, um, and will stay there for a year. So that's the wonderful news. Um, and I mean, your surrender card is surrender to your soul's path. I mean, this is kind of like when Jupiter enters a new sign, or especially the sign of Leo, it really expands. It takes that the ideas that that sign has, then kind of expands them. So if Leo at its best is about being present, being confident, self-assured, wanting to be um, not being afraid to express yourself, then Jupiter just doubles down and brings you, helps you with that even more than usual. Obviously, the problem is going too far with it. The advice card is to truth be told. So constantly try to remember that even though you have Jupiter in your sign for a year, don't go overboard, and be honest with yourself and be honest with others, especially because you have Pluto opposite your sign. So when Pluto is opposite your sign, there's major resistance coming from other people. And so your individuality, your wanting to present yourself to the world is going to meet with some resistance. It's going to put it to the test, but not for the whole year. It's just mostly July. Um, it gets much easier later on. But in any case, still a very lucky break, and looks like there's some turmoil coming up with Mars meeting Uranus in your 11th house um, of networks and friends and networks. Your networks are expanding, but they're changing. Some people are leaving, new people are coming in. There's a major turnover there somehow. Okay. Virgo. Okay, so it's interesting that the your surrender card is surrender your people to control people. Um, so that's interesting because the new moon um is happening in your 11th house. Um, the Cancer new moon in the middle of the month is happening in your 11th house of friends and benefactors, networks, and looks like um there's sort of a new beginning, or certainly wanting to start anew there, but there's some sort of delay because of Mercury retrograde, and and but on the other hand, you're getting Venus in your sign for this month, so that's wonderful. And also the nodes are finally leaving at the end of the month. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's just that you're so used to um, dealing with these relationship issues that you don't know how to um, let go of thinking about or dealing with them anymore. I think that's one of the messages here. But the nodes are leaving, and the last we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So, and I think there's another eclipse in Virgo in February, next February. But other than that, you're done with the nodes um, for the longest time, for at least 9 years, eight, let's see. Yeah. And um, 8 years. And that should put your mind at a little bit more ease. On top of it, Jupiter is arriving to your 12th house of, you're going to find, I think it's kind of wonderful, Jupiter, even though it's the 12th house, Jupiter um, typically brings joy and ease and self-expression, um, wherever it goes. So I think that mm, maybe you will spend some um, alone time, but you will really enjoy it. I think that this is um, something about really enjoying just being yourself. Um, uh, and then, especially when the South Node arrives later on, there's something about Jupiter and South Node in your 12th house. It's about simplifying, it's about um, finding happiness in um, in those quiet moments. And especially because I think that you're gonna need that time of reflection in your 12th house because there's a lot going on in your career house or um, your role in society or your public self because Mars is meeting Uranus in your house of career, or like if you're retired, then this would be a house of your where people see you. This is the house where which is visible to other people. So something is you're very busy there. So some changes regarding your role in society or your career. And some things are possibly um, you're letting go, and some new things are arriving. And the advice is deep knowing. This is the intuition card. So yeah, the storm has arrived, and there are a lot of changes going on, but there's a funny tranquil feeling to it. On simultaneously, it's almost like, yeah, there's a storm outside, but I am comfortable inside. I am comfortable. There's an ease and simplicity in your hidden in your subconscious. There's like whatever decisions you're making, um, you're 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 feeling good about it. And try to hold on to that feeling, that inner feeling is what actually matters. Whatever these big changes are, they will pass. This too shall pass. So Libra, um, so your card, uh, letting go card is surrender to what is. Um, okay, so first thing, uh, first thing I want to mention is this is might be a very frustrating month in terms of travel. Okay, so you have Mars and Uranus meeting in the ninth house of travel. Um, the ninth house is also, but it's also your life philosophy. It's travel, it's higher education, and things that expand your mind. Um, but Mars here, um, and especially because Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house. So if you're trying to travel, yeah, expect delays. 100% expect delays. But there's something about I've been saying with all the signs that whatever delays there are, I feel like they're a blessing in disguise because I think they're even though they may feel frustrating at first, there's something about them that is actually beneficial. You'll be glad later on that you weren't able to go forward with this particular um, travel plans or whatever else you had in mind. This might also be some major breakthrough in your thinking and your life philosophy. Something happens where you have to reassess about how you think about the world and yourself. Um, this might be something quite profound, and it's almost like you have to go back and rethink everything that it's been happening this spring, and this whole past year even, and rethink everything and reassess things. Okay, and then the advice card is Treasure Island reversed. So that there's a this like a seems to be um, subconscious fears about like poverty mentality, poverty consciousness. So some sort of fears. I'm not enough. I'm not going to have enough. Other people always have more. There's some sort of there's some sort of fear about that. Um, um, but I think, um, but but with this card, um, it really is just that. It's just a fear. It's not reality. If it was another card, it might be warning about that. This card typically just warns about your state of mind. It doesn't say that this is actually what's happening. It just states that uh, be careful about self-fulfilling prophecy of having too much poverty consciousness. Am I going to have enough? Worrying about it too much may actually, like, in a funny way, make it happen. So try not to worry about it as much because, mm, so don't worry about these delays. Don't worry about, because something here is protecting you. Whatever delays and frustrations seem to be, feels like it's going against you, it's actually not. It's going to turn out that it's a good thing. Okay. So Scorpio, um, so so two things going on as you've been having this other people's money, Uranus entering this house, and now Mars is activating it. So something to do with other people's money, um, um, taxes, divorce, inheritance. Something here is like activating. This is also karma with other people, um, what people owe us, what we owe them. But simultaneously, you sort of think, there's so much blessings in your house, your philosophy house, your own. The ninth house is your philosophy, higher education, travel, things like that. And you have the new moon in Cancer there. There's some sort of delays, possibly in travel. So, not a great month to travel, but except if you're just taking it easy and not and prepare yourself for that. Then things are not, if you're traveling, especially long distance traveling, things are not going to go as planned. So make um, as long as you prepare for that, you don't have to be feel frustrated about it. Um, but something here regarding other people's money and your self-worth and other people's, mm, maybe pressure or some sort of surprise that other people are um, putting on you, um, kind of real is kind of changing your mind about things. Yeah, there's some sort of feeling like you thought you're going to be able to go like easygoing about this money issue, but you're not. Your card is surrender denial. So there is some kind of this Mars is activating your eighth house in a way that you cannot pretend like you cannot that there's not going to be a conflict there. There's going to be a conflict there, and you're just going to have to take it on, and it's going to be a little bit frustrating. And again, changing the wind, yeah, it looks like you're changing your mind about something. Maybe you tried to take it easy about some money issue or something that is causing you reassessed your self-esteem issues or money or something to do with your family and money. Mm, but you're going to have to take it on and you're changing your mind. And this is probably means that um, you're going to have to you're going to have to get into it and deal with it, but it's not going to happen right away. There are delays and frustrations, which eventually turn out to be a blessing in disguise, these delays. Okay, so trust in that. Surrender your denial, but trust that whatever is happening is a good thing. It's going to turn out good. So Sagittarius, um, so interestingly, so Mars is now activating Uranus in your house of relationships, your seventh house. So this is definitely something that is notable. There's some sort of stress that uh, is in your relationship house, some sort of frustration, communication issue, possibly money issue with other people's money, house, eighth house. There's some sort of delay and frustration here related to family and family money. Um, and even though you have Venus in your house of career, that's ruled by Mercury here as well. So th things here are a little bit out of control, and you are asked to surrender your attachment to results. Okay, so maybe yeah, I think the advice is thinker um part. So I think you're being asked to uh typically you would trust your Sagittarius luck and just like worries to the wind. Let's not worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Um, this is not that. This is not that month. This is not the month to trust your luck. This is the time to kind of things through. Don't be uh, don't be just trusting your luck, but think things logically and understand that some things are out of your control here, and you're going to make them worse if you just try to um, mm, rely on your charms and good looks and good luck, your good luck this month. It's not going to work. These changes are coming, and this frustration is coming. But just try not to control the situation too much because it's not going to work. There's going to be delays, and just try to think of things from other people's point of view as well. Okay, so Capricorn, you are being asked to surrender to complete healing. So you have this lovely new moon in your relationship house. But there is it is like much influenced by Mercury, which is retrograding in this house this month. So you are kind of thinking back about your relationship, that there's something about relationships that makes you reevaluate them, um, and possibly old relationships are coming out of the woodwork. You're meeting old um, um, lovers or old other relationship. Even friends may show up in all kinds of relationship. This is definitely a nostalgic kind of thing, but it's also about this Mercury retrograde is actually beneficial because it gives you time to think. Um, and I think um, so. Your day-to-day life, Mars is meeting um, Uranus. Your day-to-day life might get a little bit busier. There's something that activates here. Um, something to might be you might have some problems with pets. I hope not, but there might be some issues with pets, but also and there might be some breakthroughs regarding them as well. But so again, I feel like this Mercury retrograde is one of the best. There's something very beneficial and good about it. It may look frustrating, but it is. And your advice card is poised. So I feel like um maybe even the pet issue or your this is a house of the sixth house is chronic health. Maybe some kind of chronic health issue is actually there's a breakthrough regarding that. So very interesting Mercury retrograde here, which is I feel like whatever delays and retakes is happening, there's some sort of breakthrough that um, you are able to surrender to complete healing. Something to do with your daily routine, pets, your health, and it's somehow related to your relationships as well. So um, so yeah, very interesting. But again, I feel like these delays are going to be beneficial. So and I think in your case, it's going to be quite direct. I think it's going to be. I feel like you're going to see these, especially because of this card, the poise card. I think you're going to see these benefits um, sooner than other people. I think you're going to like see them quite soon and realize, oh, this delay was a good thing. Like this retake and rethinking and redoing this is a great thing. Okay. So Aquarius, you are just being asked to surrender to the beauty of the natural world. So I think yeah, your sixth house of the Cancer new moon is gonna happen, your sixth house of work and health and pets. So there's something here, um, some sort of delay, but I feel like it gives you um, uh, you know, time to rest. And then obviously the big news is that you're getting Jupiter in your um, opposite sign, Leo. Jupiter is going to be in Leo for a whole year. So that's very good news regarding if you're on the lookout for a partnership or renewal or healing and partnership issues. This Jupiter there in your seventh house is very auspicious and a good time to meet someone new if that's what you're interested in. However, I will say that that's with the caveat that it is opposite the beginning of the month, especially um, Jupiter is opposite Pluto, and so there is some major resistance, some sort of power struggle issue regarding you and other people, your individuality versus um, other people's wants and needs. Um, but it's not going to last forever, and it's going to get easier later on. Um, but and Jupiter in your seventh house is still very beneficial. So so then you have the advice card is the peace, the peace card. And so yeah, there's something here. Um, I think that despite it's going to be a really busy month in the world. Um, and but I think that for you, it's going to be uh, possibly a little bit less busy than for other people. Well, let's put it this way: you're going to try to do things, but they're not going to. There's going to be so many delays that you might as well just rest. So I really suggest that you rest this month because next month is going to be you are going to be stepping into the eclipse season and be affected, majorly affected by it. So I would say rest this month and get ready for next month, um, which is um, a month of more big changes. This is more, in your case, take this opportunity, take these delays in order to rest. Um, okay. And Pisces, so Pisces, um, so the good news is that at the end of the month, at the end of July, the nodes are going to finally leave your sign, and you're going to have um, the last eclipse at the end of July, at the end of August, and that is it. Then, for a long, long time, then you're done with the eclipses, and you're done with all these. You've had all these. Um, you've hosted. You've hosted Neptune and Saturn and the nodes for so long. I feel like you can finally concentrate on yourself, finally um, starting the end of August. But it's already, I feel like you're already starting. Like you can clear the deck, and your advice card is all that glitters. In other words, everything superficial, all that glitters is not gold. So you can finally, I feel like you can finally let go of any kind of distraction and any kind of superficial stuff or stuff that is not meaningful to you. This is definitely a month that, and I that any kind of delays are going to be actually beneficial. So you do have Mars meeting with Uranus in your home environment. So that may bring some surprises in your home environment. But I feel like even they're just clearing the deck again. So there's this feeling of, let's let's um let's start anew. Um, okay, and everything superficial and anything that is not no longer serving me has to go. Okay, so let this storm work for you. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. You can go to my website. My readings start from $40. You can book an interactive Zoom reading that is a unique mix of astrology and tarot. And I customize readings um, to your needs. And thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for listening. Have a great month.